Hello. Today General Hospital will reveal after nearly 7 transformative years on General Hospital, Sofia Mattsson has officially said goodbye to her beloved role as Sasha Gilmore Corbin, marking the July 18th episode as her emotional final appearance. Her departure came not with dramatic fanfare or behind-the-scenes controversy, but as a deeply personal decision that resonated powerfully with viewers who have followed her journey. Far from being the result of creative differences or contractual disputes, Sofia's choice was rooted in something much more profound and life-changing, the decision to embrace motherhood for the first time. In a rare and heartfelt interview following her last broadcasted episode, Sofia opened up about her plans, explaining that she wanted to step away from the intense demands of the soap opera world to fully dedicate herself to her growing family. She expressed a heartfelt desire to be present for every precious moment with her baby, nurturing and guiding them through the earliest years of life with the same tenderness she brought to her on-screen performances. What made this announcement even more poignant was Sofia's revelation that her final scenes were filmed in chronological order, a rare luxury in television production. This choice allowed her to experience the emotional arc of Sasha's farewell as organically and authentically as possible, giving both her performance and her character's send-off a sense of true closure. The goodbye wasn't just for the cameras, it was a deeply lived moment. The final embrace, the parting kiss, and the lingering glances between Sasha, Jason, and Robert felt imbued with the weight of real-life goodbyes. Capturing a sense of loss and transition not only in the narrative but in the hearts of fans who had grown to love Sofia's Sasha. These moments have since etched themselves into the emotional history of General Hospital, becoming symbolic of a chapter closed, yet cherished. Adding to the gravity of this episode was the simultaneous departure of Tristan Rogers, who portrayed the legendary Robert Scorpio. At 79, Tristan revealed he would be stepping away from the show to undergo treatment for cancer, a battle that immediately inspired an outpouring of love and support from the fanbase. With his iconic silver hair, wise yet piercing gaze, and voice that carried decades of soap opera gravitas, Tristan's absence leaves a significant void in the GH universe. His exit, timed alongside Sofia's, gave the July 18th episode an added layer of weight and finality. It wasn't just an end for Sasha. It was a gentle farewell to Robert as well, a character whose presence had helped shape the soul of the show for generations. The final scenes, set in France, featured Robert, Holly, Sasha, and baby Daisy in a serene tableau of familial peace. It was a healing moment, free from drama, full of warmth, and imbued with a sense of lasting harmony. For long-time viewers, it felt like the closure they didn't know they needed. What makes Sofia's departure all the more affecting is that it isn't a definitive goodbye. She hasn't closed the door completely, and in her own words, she left that door wide open for a return in the future. Her only condition? That she gives herself time to fully embrace motherhood, to raise her child until they are strong and secure, and only then consider re-entering the demanding world of daytime television. This sentiment struck a deep chord with fans, many of whom took to social media to share their support, admiration, and hopes for her return. They see her not just as an actress but as someone who brought a deeply human presence to the screen, and they eagerly await the day Sasha Gilmore Corbin walks once again through the doors of General Hospital, transformed and radiant, shaped by the experiences of real-life motherhood. In contrast, the situation with Robert remains uncertain. The writers of GH now face a challenging decision: how to honor Tristan's legacy without closing the door entirely. Will Robert be written off as having gone abroad for an indefinite period, or will the show take the bolder route of writing his death off-screen? For now, fans are hoping for the former. In a show built on twists and resurrections, hope remains eternal. If and when Tristan Rogers regains his health and wishes to return, the GH family, and its audience, will surely be waiting with open arms. The events of the July 18th episode were layered with emotional complexity. Sasha and Daisy, escorted by Jason, left Port Charles to escape the escalating turmoil between Michael and Willow, whose custody battle had turned increasingly manipulative and toxic. Willow's growing unpredictability had turned her from a grieving mother into a controlling figure, ultimately forcing Sasha to take drastic action. Viewers had seen this shift coming, as Willow's judgment became more questionable with each episode. It reached a breaking point when Sasha realized that the only way to ensure Daisy's safety was to leave the chaos behind. Her departure wasn't just about escape, it was an act of maternal courage, a step toward reclaiming peace and stability for her daughter. The scene at the airport where Jason says goodbye was heartbreakingly tender. Without many words, it conveyed the depth of trust and gratitude Sasha felt. The kisses she placed on Jason's cheeks, one from her, one from Daisy, were quiet but powerful tokens of love and farewell. It was a moment that needed no dialogue to carry its emotional weight. The lighting, the silence, the subtle nods of mutual respect, everything came together to make this farewell feel deeply lived in and genuine. Later, in France, the final scene between Sasha, Robert, and Daisy played like a portrait come to life. The golden light streaming through the windows, the laughter echoing softly in the quiet villa, and the calm expressions of contentment created a scene that didn't need conflict to be moving. It was an ending filled with peace, reflection, and soft closure, a rare gift in the often turbulent world of daytime drama. It showed that even in a genre defined by chaos, betrayal, and heartbreak, there is space for stillness, joy, and healing. While Sofia's departure represents the end of an era, it also heralds a beginning, one that mirrors the growth Sasha herself underwent on the show. From a troubled young woman plagued by grief and addiction to a mother who makes the ultimate sacrifice for her child's well-being, Sasha's arc has been one of redemption, resilience, and love. And in stepping away to become a mother herself, Sofia's life now echoes that same narrative evolution. Fans can only hope that when she returns, she'll bring with her not only the same emotional depth but also the richness of new experience. Until then, her legacy on General Hospital remains not just intact, but gloriously expanded, an enduring testament to what it means to love, to let go, and to grow. However, General Hospital is never one to simply conclude a chapter without hinting at what may lie ahead. As with so many pivotal moments in the show's rich and unpredictable history, even the most emotional farewells often serve as gateways to new mysteries. Just as Jason Morgan stood in the Paris airport, preparing to board a flight back to Port Charles following his emotional goodbye to Sasha and Daisy, someone, caught his eye. In a split second, his world tilted. A woman brushed past him in the crowd, her silhouette eerily familiar, her stride confident yet hurried. Jason froze. His eyes widened, his breath caught. It was impossible, or was it? The woman looked exactly like Dr. Britt Westbourne, a woman presumed dead, mourned, and remembered by many. Britt's death had sent shockwaves through Port Charles, not just because of her history with Jason, but because of the complexity of her redemption arc. And yet, there she was. Or someone who looked just like her. This single, silent moment, Jason's stunned reaction, the camera lingering on his conflicted expression, the woman disappearing into the crowd without turning back, was enough to set the fandom ablaze. Was it truly Britt? Could she have survived, somehow, somewhere, protected by someone unknown? Or was this just a clever narrative sleight of hand, a lookalike introduced to stir the waters of Jason's emotional past? The possibilities were endless, and General Hospital knew precisely how to wield ambiguity like a weapon. This wasn't just a random encounter, it was a calculated spark, a whisper that even as Sasha's chapter closed, another one was beginning, possibly one rooted in lies, identity, and resurrection. Fans immediately took to social media to share theories, dissect still images from the episode, and speculate on how a Britt return could alter the trajectory of not just Jason's storyline, but the show at large. And as if that weren't enough to fuel speculation, this haunting encounter came at a moment of deep narrative transition. Sasha's exit had left a significant emotional vacuum, not only for fans but for the characters who had grown close to her. Chief among them was Michael Corinthos. In the aftermath of Sasha's departure, Michael found himself floundering, emotionally adrift and overwhelmed by a sense of loss he hadn't fully prepared for. Their history may have been complicated, but their shared bond through Daisy had grounded him. Now, with Sasha gone and Willow becoming more volatile by the day, Michael faced a new reality, one fraught with legal challenges, emotional estrangement, and the growing realization that his fight for Daisy may only be beginning. The question loomed, could Michael truly move forward? Could he carve out a new future for himself and his daughter, or would Sasha's absence haunt him at every turn? In the eyes of the writing team, this marked a ripe opportunity to push Michael into a darker, more mature arc, one that would test his capacity to love, to fight, and to forgive. Willow, meanwhile, continued her descent into moral ambiguity. Once the symbol of compassion and sacrifice, she had become increasingly hardened, calculating, and driven by possessiveness rather than maternal instinct. Her behavior grew more erratic, her decisions colder. Some viewers sympathized with her unraveling, others condemned it. But either way, General Hospital was clearly positioning her as a lightning rod for conflict and controversy. As the battle lines began to form around Daisy's custody, the narrative potential expanded. Courtroom showdowns, revelations about parenting decisions, past traumas resurfacing, this was fertile ground for drama. Yet even amidst the legal tension, the emotional heart of the story remained with Jason, who now stood at a crossroads. Having helped Sasha and Daisy escape, he was no longer just a passive observer. He had become a witness to the disintegration of trust between Michael and Willow, and perhaps the only person still capable of guiding them back to some form of resolution. Or accelerating their ultimate breakdown. Jason's potential involvement in the coming conflict could serve as the catalyst for a dramatic shift in tone. Will he remain loyal to Michael and fight on his behalf? Or will he uncover disturbing truths about Willow's motives that force him to question everything? Moreover, if the woman at the Paris airport truly was Brit, or even someone related to her, Jason could soon be pulled into a dual mystery. One involving Daisy's future, and the other involving a haunting resurrection from his past. In true GH fashion, such overlapping arcs promise to collide in spectacular fashion, with stakes that extend far beyond any one character. And so, even as one emotional farewell fades into the background, General Hospital remains very much alive, pulsing with intrigue, heartbreak, and suspense. The ghost of Brit Westbourne may or may not have returned, but the shockwave of her potential reappearance is undeniable. With Michael's grief sharpening into determination, Willow's mask beginning to crack, and Jason caught between duty, doubt, and possibly long-buried love, the stage is set for a new era, one shaped by mystery, rivalry, and the question that now lingers in every viewer's mind: what happens next? Across every corner of the internet, from dedicated fan forums to casual viewer comment sections, the emotional wave following the July 18th episode of General Hospital continues to ripple outward with no sign of slowing. For fans of the long-running daytime drama, the episode marked more than just another hour of television. It was a seismic shift in the emotional landscape of Port Charles, a dual farewell to two beloved characters whose presence has long shaped the heart of the show. Sofia Mattson's departure as Sasha Gilmore Corbin and Tristan Rogers' final appearance as Robert Scorpio ignited a whirlwind of reflection, grief, celebration, and collective gratitude, as viewers across generations took to social media to pour out their emotions in a rare moment of unity. On platforms like Twitter, the hashtag #ThankYouSophia surged in popularity, joined swiftly by #ForeverSashaGH, as fans recounted what Sasha meant to them. Her journey from a wounded woman buried beneath secrets and lies to a radiant mother willing to sacrifice everything for her child was not just a character arc, it was a testament to growth, healing, and the quiet strength of survivors. Fans shared personalized tributes, some featuring montages set to soft music, showing Sasha cradling Daisy, leaning on Brando in earlier days, surviving her mental breakdown, and finally finding peace in her new chapter overseas. Others posted hand-drawn fan art depicting Sasha as a guardian angel watching over Port Charles, or seated peacefully on a bench beside Robert and Daisy beneath a tree, symbolizing the rest and security she had long been denied. One viral post read, "I watched Sasha fall apart. I watched her rebuild. And now I watch her walk away, not as a broken woman, but as the strongest mother GH has ever seen." At the same time, Sofia's personal decision to leave in order to welcome her first child added another layer of meaning to her departure. Fans didn't just see an actress exiting a role, they saw a woman embracing one of life's most profound transformations. The outpouring of good wishes was overwhelming. Thousands of replies flooded under her official post announcing her departure, with fans from around the world writing messages like, "May motherhood be your greatest role yet," and "Thank you for giving so much of yourself to Sasha. Now give that love to your baby." In response, longtime GH viewers began revisiting interviews, behind-the-scenes moments, and Sofia's earliest episodes to honor her full trajectory. Not just the fictional one of her character, but the dedication and subtlety she brought to the role with every scene. Meanwhile, a parallel movement grew in honor of Tristan Rogers. The news of his battle with cancer cast a poignant shadow over the episode, as fans realized that this was not just a character arc pausing, it was a beloved actor stepping back to face a personal and life-altering journey. Robert Scorpio was never just a role. He was a cornerstone of the GH universe, a moral compass, a flawed but enduring hero who navigated danger, fatherhood, espionage, and heartbreak with signature grit. The forums lit up with tributes to Robert's legendary moments, his early days as a WSB agent, his love story with Holly, his reunions with Anna, and his devotion to his daughter Robin. Photos circulated of Tristan across the decades, his iconic silver-streaked hair and piercing blue eyes unchanged despite the passage of time. Many fans wrote open letters to Tristan, thanking him for being a stable presence through decades of change on the show. One message read, "You've outlasted villains, disasters, and network shakeups. You gave Robert your heart, and we felt it in every scene. Now, as you fight a new battle, you carry all of us with you." Fans organized candlelight vigils in virtual spaces, threads where users posted emojis of candles, hearts, and doves, sending love and strength. Others suggested that GH dedicate an upcoming episode to him, perhaps including a retrospective or tribute montage to honor his legacy properly. In the days following the broadcast, fans began building emotional archives, threads on Reddit, commentaries on YouTube, blog posts revisiting Sasha and Robert's top 10 episodes, and TikToks that turned key GH moments into mini-documentaries. These weren't just fan creations. They were expressions of mourning and celebration, carefully crafted by a community that deeply understands the emotional gravity of soap opera storytelling. The line between character and actor blurred, not because of confusion, but because of connection. Sasha wasn't just a scripted character to many, she was the personification of resilience. And Robert wasn't just a spy, he was a father, a symbol of loyalty, and now, a man facing his own battle off-screen. Even more touching were the intergenerational posts, parents who had grown up watching Robert Scorpio in the 1980s now watching Sasha's farewell with their own children. They shared how GH had become a shared experience across time, with Tristan and Sofia serving as emotional bridges. One user posted, "My mother introduced me to Robert. I introduced my daughter to Sasha. Watching this episode together, we cried for different reasons, but we cried together." Yet despite the gravity of the goodbyes, there was also a profound sense of hope. Sofia's own words, expressing her openness to return once her child grows older, were clung to like a lifeline. Fans immediately began dreaming up future storylines, Sasha returning as a wiser, stronger woman with Daisy in tow, Robert re-emerging from a mysterious absence, perhaps having faked his death to protect his family. This is the beauty of General Hospital. No character is ever truly gone, and no goodbye is ever forever. The creative team behind GH understands this deeply. In the past, they've revived the presumed dead, transformed villains into heroes, and rewritten destinies. And so, the stage is quietly being set for future comebacks. Even the final scene of the July 18th episode, the golden light filtering through the windows of the French villa, the quiet laughter of Daisy, Sasha, and Robert, felt more like a pause than an ending. It left the door wide open, narratively and emotionally, for these characters to one day return and pick up where they left off. In this ever-evolving, never-ending world of General Hospital, every silence carries the promise of more to come. Sasha's departure was not a final act, but a curtain call before the next performance. Robert's absence was not an exit, but a retreat into the shadows, waiting for the right moment to return to the light. The echoes of their stories will linger in every scene, every hallway, every whisper of drama that unfolds in Port Charles. And when the time is right, when the baby is grown, when the battle is won, when the story demands it, they will return. And when they do, they won't just be welcomed back as characters. They will be welcomed home as family. In the end, the July 18th episode of General Hospital will be remembered not just as a farewell, but as a defining moment of legacy. One that honored the past, embraced the present, and hinted at the future with quiet confidence. Through Sofia Mattson's graceful exit to begin the most personal chapter of her life, and Tristan Rogers' dignified departure to face a battle of immeasurable strength, the show reminded its audience why it has endured for over 6 decades. Because General Hospital has never been just about plot twists or cliffhangers. It has always been about the people, the emotions, the growth, and the resilience that mirror our own lives.